upheld a federal gun control law that intends to protect victims of domestic violence.
The justice is ruling in favor of a 1994 ban on firearms for people under domestic violence restraining orders to stay away from their spouses or their partners. The court reversing a ruling from the Federal Appeals Court in New Orleans that had struck down that law.
Joining us live today is the Executive Director of SCOTUS, a local advocacy organization, Sarah Barber, here to talk to us about the impact of this ruling for domestic violence survivors. Sarah, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So when you heard this news today, I mean, obviously everybody's waiting on the edge of their seat. There's no way to anticipate which way the court might have ruled, but obviously this ruling, I would imagine, you tell us, gives survivors some measure of comfort, of peace, and feeling like maybe we're moving a little bit and taking at least a step forward in the right direction.
For us, it was a feeling of absolute relief. You know, this is a critical protection for survivors. We have around an estimated 80,000 cases of domestic violence in South Carolina every year. So to weaken any protections that survivors have would have been a huge step backwards. We're really pleased that the court recognized how important it is that when someone has made a credible threat to the physical safety of an intimate partner, that they can be disarmed.
In a little history, a Texas man, this all stems from a case out of Texas. When he was accused of hitting his girlfriend, he threatened that he will come back and shoot her. And again, that's exactly what he did. Some people don't really think about when you get these restraining orders that it's just a piece of paper, but there needs to be even more restrictions to make sure that the survivor is able to live in peace and be comfortable.
Yeah, orders of protection, I mean, are often dismissed as a piece of paper, but they do provide additional protections. They help, you know, they'll tell someone to keep away from the survivor and their children. They can provide for the survivor to stay in a house safely. And then with this gun protection, it gives law enforcement the tools that they need to disarm that person if they ignore that protective order or if they try and access weapons later.
Well, and we talk about, you know, survivors and, you know, trying to reach out and giving them an avenue, right, to safety if and when they are ready to leave a domestic violence situation. And having this law in place creates a little more space to allow that to happen, because oftentimes threats are made that you have every fear that will be carried out. And so at least this measure of protection creates a little more space to perhaps be able to navigate that.
Absolutely. It's also important to realize that if someone is seeking an order of protection, they're actually maybe in the most dangerous part of the relationship. They are getting ready to leave, and that is when the violence can intensify. So to recognize that there are ways that you can be helped, there are resources that can help you move forward are incredibly important.
That's wonderful.
You talked about the shocking statistics that 80,000 domestic violence cases happen statewide. We reported on one today where a pregnant wife was allegedly murdered by her own husband. We've been reporting so much about these pregnant women who have been killed by their loved ones. What is the issue with that, as far as why pregnant women are so vulnerable to domestic violence?
It is a red flag for violence to either start or intensify. We're not completely sure why. It can be a measure that someone's going to take the place of the offender, like be the focus of attention, as babies are. It might be many reasons, but we do know that especially if the pregnancy is unwanted by the offender, that it can be a trigger for violence.
Well, you know, every time you were so kind to join us in studio, we always want to talk about the services that you provide, because I just feel in my heart that somebody's watching who either needs connection to services or they know someone. So if someone's watching who knows someone who's in a situation of domestic violence and they aren't sure how to support them, what is some of your guidance and advice?
First of all, we ask that if somebody comes to you and tells you that they're a victim, that you believe them and that you listen to them and that you then offer to help them find resources. They may not take advantage of them at that time, but they do know then that someone is there to listen to them in a non-judgmental way and help them when they are ready to leave. In the Midlands, we recommend that people call Sister Care. It's 24/7 hotline, and they offer a wide range of services. We also at SCOTUS have a legal program that can connect people with pro bono attorneys who will help them for free, help them navigate the civil court and answer any legal questions that they have. it's really important if you seek an order of protection that you are there with an attorney. They can help you within that system, because it can be overwhelming to go into a courtroom and lay bare the most hurtful things that have ever happened to you. And if the offender is there with an attorney, you're at an immediate disadvantage. So we urge people to reach out and ask for help, because there are resources and we want to help you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Really great information. I also would like to add that once you offer the services of an attorney pro bono, you also have someone just from SCOTUS that just checks in that may appear at the court hearings with you.
The attorney would appear with you. If you go with Sister Care, they also have legal advocates who can go to court with you.
Will you share the best way to reach you all? We'll make sure we add the information for Sister Care as well, but I think that's just such an important point, because a lot of times, you know, the people may walk into court and think, well, if you just look at me and you hear my story, you know, you'll grant this order, but there's a legal process and legal considerations that have to be navigated, and there's fear and intimidation and so many things that get layered on top of that. You need a professional to help you guide you through this process.
You do. You know, the University of South Carolina published some research in 2019. There were over 3,000 orders of protection were sought, and in 25% of those cases, the person had either been threatened with a weapon or the person had access to a firearm. So this is a common issue, and we just urge you to reach out for help. We are there for you.
And what is the best way to reach out to SCOTUS?
You can call us. We don't have a 24/7 number, but our number is 803-256-2900. You can reach us during the week. We also have a website, and if you click on the map under Get Help, it will tell you the number for the program in your area and the services they have available.
All right. Well, thank you again, Sarah, for all that you do. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll make sure to have this information on our Facebook pages and on WISTV.com. We'll be right back.
WIS